Globalization influenced many disciplines including law. In fact, law had a major impact and influence of the globalization. Professor William Twining was the first jurist to explain the globalization's impact on law and legal theory. Professor William Twining says, globalization has challenged the existing old conventional notion of black box theory. The three challenges posed by globalization and law legal theory we can discuss in this week. The first challenge is the old notion of municipal law has no impact of the international law. So, earlier we used to think domestic law, municipal law are separate, independent and they can work in isolation. That is not true in the context of globalization. For instance, the European Convention of Human Rights. Once the European member countries have articulated the European Convention of Human Rights, all the member countries have to see that their laws are almost in accordance with the European Convention of Human Rights. Similarly, we can see in the context of world trade law regime, which was again mentioned by the WTO. So, once the WTO comes out with the trade law related laws and policies, all the member countries all over the world, they cannot say that our trade law is more effectively will deal with the trade related issues. So, this is a major challenge where all the member countries have to change their laws in accordance with the world policies. Second major challenge of the globalization is challenging the old Anglo-American theory, where the international law, domestic law were almost all two separate entities. That was challenged by the globalization, particularly in the context of environmental law, international human rights law, health law and communications law and the several new laws, competition law. So, all these laws also have challenged the old notion of Anglo-American theory, which necessitates all over the world to pass the laws as per the globalized new major laws which are in effect of the globalization. Particularly we could see after the 9/11 incident, the international terrorism law, which also has influenced the several countries. The third major challenge of globalization to the legal theory is what William Twining first time attempted to propound, this general theory of jurisprudence in the wake of globalization. The old theories of the positivism and realism and the various other from Austin to the realist school may no longer exist in the context of the globalization. What we need in the context of a globalization is a new general theory of jurisprudence which encompasses all the countries' diversities, taking into consideration the social factors, the religious factors, cultural factors. That is what Professor William Twining says an important challenge before the legal theory is creating this general jurisprudence. This general jurisprudence requires thinking about a new meta theory of rights, which takes into consideration the interests of all the member countries. We will discuss the impact of William Twining legal theory on several jurists starting from Austin, Bentham, Dworkin, Hart and other in the next week.